Hi, I'm Lee, welcome back to the channel. Got most of our bathroom walls painted white now. This is still a mist coat because we are putting quite a sort of dark blue on there. So hopefully this is going to be a little tips and maybe tricks to help you cut in this dark colour against the white and hopefully have nice straight lines with no bleed in them. Keep watching. Right, so we've gone round where we need to and put our masking tape on. So we've got it down quite close to the bath there. This is going to have silicone over there, so we're not too worried about that. This obviously is down white, so don't get mask this up. Got it nicely into the corner, and then up the side of the wall, pretty much as straight as I can. And then just along the edge of the ceiling line, and to the end of there. And this wall is going to be tiled, so we don't have to worry about any paint going over here. But what I'm going to do is just try and do a couple of little test patches down there. I'm going to do one freehand and another one if if you mask it up and you just slap the paint in there. So firstly we need to do our cutting in, and this is hopefully where our little tip and trick is going to come from. Just make sure these corners are stuck down nicely. Yeah, I forgot to dry my roller out last night. Oh, where's my little stirrer gone? Right, crack this paint open. All I'm going to say is the wife chose it. So I'm just going to give this a quick stir up and we'll get into it. Look at my fancy old dust sheets, old curtains. And these little paint stirrers are great. I've had these for years. As long as you look after them, just give them a quick clean. I've got one that I use for gloss paints that's obviously still caked in gloss, but the ones for water-based paints, if you look after them, just run them under water with water-based paints and these things last forever. Oh, that's what that weird smell is, it's the sponge. Whew! Yeah, rinse that out. Right, so I'm not an expert at painting and decorating, but just thought I'd try this. You know, it's your bog standard masking tape. You get it from any old shop, Aldi's, Poundland, whatever. It's not super sticky, so hopefully it's not going to pull that paint off that I've already nicely painted. And now the thing we're cutting in, just because you've got that mask, you don't want to just be like slapping the paint on in the corner. You still want to take your time. So it's the first time I'm going to see what this colour looks like on a wall. But if you just get the excess paint off your paintbrush with that, and then cut it in as if you was going to do it freehand. So push the brush in, twist it round slightly. These aren't the best brushes in the world, but go down slowly as if you was doing it freehand. So you haven't got, a massive ball of paint on the end. You've got rid of your paint by brushing it off on there. And then if you push your brush in and just tilt it slightly, you should get a ball on the end. So I'll do that again. So we just loaded our brush up. So we're getting the majority of the paint off our brush. So when we tilt it and turn it like that, we haven't got a big ball of paint running down the edge of our bristles. And you can kind of like just cutting freehand. It's not going to take you much longer, but you're just literally just going over the edge of the tape. That way you're not putting so much paint on there that it's trying to get under the masking tape. Whether this works or not, I don't know. We'll find out. But what we can do over this side, we'll put it to the same test. We'll put just a strip of masking tape along the corner. Put that down the same corner, same masking tape. Load our brush up, and then we'll just slap it in the corner like that, like you would do normally. This is quite dark. And also, if you wanted to do it freehand, you do the same again. just put a line of paint down your wall. It takes most of the excess off, makes it a little bit slipperier for the brush just to glide down. And then again, stick it in the corner, rotate the brush slightly so you've got a nice ball on the end, and then you can just freehand down the edge. Obviously that's the skilled way and you need a steady hand, so we'll have a closer look at that later. Right, so I'm just going to go around cutting in the first way I showed you. Like I say, around the bath. Around the bath that doesn't matter. Up the sides and along the ceiling we want to take a little bit of extra time. So I'm just gonna carry on cutting in. I need to get my platform out because I can't really reach up here properly without stretching. Don't forget, just in case you do make any mistakes or little slip-ups, always have just a little damp cloth around, old cloth, just to mop up any bits you stick where you don't want it. Wipe them off straight away. You're so strong, I wanna be strong. Right, so that's our first round of cutting in. So all down that top bit, I just freehanded so we can have a look at that later a bit closer up. And then we've got our masking tape that we just stuck the paint on. That might work. You might have a nice perfectly straight edge, or you might have, what I'm hoping to have, because I sort of just slapped the paint on that bit, is to show you not to slap it on and there's going to be bleed. So basically the paint's going to be going under the side of the masking tape and leave you little streaks down the side. So I'll just finish off that bit there now, and then we'll get the paint on the middle of it. And hopefully it's not going to look too dark, although it's very white and bright in here at the moment, so I think bit of dark colour is going to do the job. Right, now I want to be careful with this because I don't want to be splashing my bright white walls. If you get like patches coming through, I don't know if you can see up there, don't try and keep going over it because you'll probably find you'll just keep taking more and more paint off and going back to white. Just leave that till your second coat. Your heart's mine and made you look. Yowza, that's a dark wall. Yeah. Right, so that's round one. Cutting in one, first coat. But this says to leave 2 hours between coats now, so we're going to leave this 2 hours, cut around the edge again, paint the middle again, and then we can peel our tape off and have a look at the results of just slapping the paint on, carefully putting the paint on, and a little bit of freehand. No splatters anywhere at the moment. Right, 2 hours time. Right, I'm not going to sit here and watch it for 2 hours, I'm going to get a cup of tea. It's been a couple of hours. Put our tray in a black bag just to keep the paint fresh, stop it from drying out. Same as we did before, going to follow that line as close as I can with a brush, exactly the same as the first one, all the way around. I'm going to slap it on in the other corner as well and do the other bit of it freehand. Someone you care about and do you right. You still wrote your story when nobody believed in you. You're so strong. I wanna be strong. I wanna be just like you. I wanna be just like you. 'Cause you're so strong. that should do it. Don't want to take the tape off while it's too wet. I'm just going to leave that maybe half an hour just to let the paint settle a bit until it's like tacky. Just don't let it go too hard, I think. Right, don't go anywhere, wait for the results. Let's take the tape off, see what we've got. Just rip this bottom strip off first because this isn't going to matter too much. This is peeling up the side. And we are getting a bit of even still, we've got a little bit of bleed out on there. We've actually got some paint peeled off of there, so that's a little touch-up job.
I wanna be just like you when I grow up.
That's taken patches of paint out as well. But the line across there is not too bad. That's another bit of my plastering that I really needed to fill in before I started painting. But that's quite a good line. So then what happens if you don't use masking tape? This is, don't forget, I mean this wall's going to get tiled, so it doesn't matter if I've gone over the edge or not, but this was just trying to do, you know, a bit of freehand. So this is just using the paintbrush straight down the corner, which isn't too bad. You could patch up little bits where you've gone over too far. The thing is, when it's right in the corner, it's hard to wipe off with a cloth. That's not too bad freehand. I mean, you're only going to notice it if you're close up. There's a little bump of plaster on there, so the paint looks like it's sticking out a bit. And then this is the one where we just slap the paint on, so we'll see what this bit's like. See how much bled under the tape. So you do get quite a bit of bleed going under the tape if you just slap it on like that. Like I say, the tiles are going to cover this, and then that was me just freehanding back down there again without any masking tape. And then I sort of gave up down the bottom. So there we go. That's not too bad. A couple of bits where the paint comes off. That's the trouble you're going to get with masking tape or even using fog tape. Even though it's low tack, you're still going to probably get some paint come off. Especially when this paint's only been on here for sort of 24, 48 hours. But doing it this way, I think definitely worked better than slapping the paint on. Slapping the paint on, got loads of paint leaking underneath the masking tape. Whereas here, just cutting in sort of finely down the edge still, as if you was like doing it freehand. That worked better. I mean, some of these lines up here are so sharp. I mean, you have got tiny little specks where the paint's bled underneath, but they're few and far between, and if you want them to be that perfect about it, you get a tiny little paintbrush and dot some white on them. But you're never going to see these from, 3 foot away. And even a freehand's not too bad. So it's up to you on which version you want to do. So you can use your masking tape or frog tape, but you do risk taking like some paint off the wall. So I mean, this is just going to peel off now if I just let it go in one strip. So you can end up just peeling a whole load of paint off. Missed it. But that way it did work the best, in my opinion. If you haven't got steady hands, you can't do it freehand. So Hope that was a little tip for you. Hope it's made your mind up on which way you want to try and do some cutting in if you've got a feature wall. It's especially bad when you're doing a dark colour on a light colour. Yeah, if you was doing a white and magnolia, then it wouldn't be so bad. You could probably freehand it, or definitely do it this way. And also, using the dark colour has showed up every single bit of imperfection on this wall. I'm not going to touch it too much because it's not quite dry properly yet. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye for now. Ow.